Hello friends, today I am going to discuss about origin of birds. Birds belong to the class Aves of the subphylum Vertebrata. What is precisely a bird? In popular parlance, a bird has been described as a feathered biped. This description is apt and precise and can apply to no other animal. The most distinguishing feature of bird is the possession of feathers. All of them have feathers which do not occur in other animals. They are flying vertebrates possessing wings. Birds are the best known and the most easily recognizable of all animals. Almost every household at one time or another has kept bird pets of some kind. Domesticated birds are common and familiar to everyone. Being largely diurnal creatures like man and easily seen, their association with man is a long and intimate one. Certainly, we know more about them than about any other animals. In fact, it is difficult to imagine ourselves in a world without birds. Let us know about origin of birds. Reptilian descent. One might infer simply from the structure of modern birds that they have evolved from Mesozoic Archosaurian reptiles. At first glance, it may look incredible that a highly organized, feathered, warm-blooded, agile, and soaring birds could be descended from a sluggish, cold-blooded, and earthbound reptile. But the paleontological evidence supplied by the discovery of the earliest fossil of an undoubted bird, the Archaeopteryx, tends to support this belief. Besides, the modern birds and the reptile denote a very close kinship in the characters of their anatomy and embryology. For example, the mode of articulation of skull with the vertebral column and the nucleated RBC of birds are distinctly reptilian in character. The birds also lay eggs, which in many cases are similar to those of reptiles in appearance and composition. The development of their embryos is identical up to a point. The horny epidermal scales present on the tarsus and toes of birds are also identical with those of reptiles. In some birds, like sand grouse and certain eagles and owls, the legs are covered by feathers and not scales. The feathers of birds are also similar to reptilian scales in their chemical composition. These facts suggest that feathers of birds have evolved by the modification of reptilian scales and that the two may be interchangeable. The shading of outer horny sheet of the bills of certain birds, for example puffin, and the periodical molting of birds are essentially similar to these processes in reptiles. In short, birds may quite reasonably be considered to be modified reptiles, a conclusion which led T. H. Huxley to classify them together under the common name Sauropsida. Unfortunately, fossils of birds are not as well represented as those of reptiles and mammals. Bird skeleton did not fossilize readily because of their delicate structure. Moreover, the arboreal habits of birds were not conducive to preservation. There are no fossils showing gradual transformation of birds from their reptilian ancestors. This explains the difficulty of working out their early relationships. Therefore, the origin and evolution of birds remain somewhat obscure. Archaeopteryx, the oldest fossil bird. The oldest known fossil bird is called Archaeopteryx, discovered in the later half of the 19th century in the lithographic limestone from Jurassic deposits in Bavaria, Germany. This lizard-like bird was about the size of a pigeon and was definitely transitional with some reptilian features like scales, teeth, lizard-like tail, and some avian features like feathers, horny beak, wings for a flight. In fact, there has been some controversy as to whether it is a reptile or a bird. With the exceptions of feathers, these birds had a general resemblance to dinosaurs. Other toothed birds of later geological periods have also been found. The evidence, therefore, is strikingly in favor of a reptilian ancestry of birds. However, the actual ancestors are not known. Archaeopteryx lived and flourished 130 million years ago, during the Jurassic period, which is right for a creature to be a connecting link between the Pseudosuchia and the modern birds. No doubt, it was the immediate ancestor of all modern birds. Subsequent fossils finds from Cretaceous period were even more bird-like, while in another 50 million years, during Eocene period, the modern birds were well established. Ancestral reptiles. Although Archaeopteryx is supposed to be a connecting link between reptiles and birds, the gap between it and the actual reptilian ancestor remains yet to be filled. The skeleton of birds has long been known to be similar in many ways to an important group of stem reptiles of the Carboniferous, called Archosauria or Cotylosauria. Example is Simuria and Euparkeria. They resembled birds in the following skeletal characters: hind limbs much longer than the forelimbs, tibia long and strong and fused with proximal tarsals to form a tarso-metatarsus, ischium and pubis long to permit fore and aft movement, acetabulum cup-like and open below to allow the legs to remain vertical below the body. Out of 4 digits present, 3 directed forward and 1 directed backward. The Archosauria became much diversified in Carboniferous period, about 300 million years ago, leading to all the reptiles, birds and mammals. The heart and blood system of birds closely resembles those of crocodiles, which are themselves Archosauria. It is, therefore, in this group that we may hope to find the ancestors of birds. The first offshoot of Archosauria formed the turtles, while another early line led to the primitive mammals. Several other early lines, for example, Ichthyosauria and Plesiosauria, became totally extinct without any living descendants. But one large ancestral group of ruling reptiles called Pseudosuchia or Thecodontia mutated along several lines in the Triassic and gave rise to all the later pterosaurs, dinosaurs, crocodiles, and by an unknown route to birds. The ruling reptiles, for example, Saltoposuchus, were small, bipedal, and carnivorous with teeth set in sockets of jawbones. Of the bewildering array of Pseudosuchians, only 3 groups, Pterosauria, Surischia, and Ornithischia, may be singled out as potential avian ancestors. Each group had some members with bird-like features. Formerly, it was considered that birds originated from the awesome, light-boned, membrane-winged flying reptiles, the pterosaurs or pterodactyls. This view is no longer supported today. Some of the early ornithischians, such as Iguanodon and Camptosaurs, were bipedal animals, but the bipedalism was marked to a greater extent in some Saurischian, such as Struthiomimus and Ornithomimus. These later types were exceedingly bird-like in form, walking on 3 toes and having 3 also in the much reduced hand, one opposable and used for grasping. Their skull was lightly built and teeth were absent in the beak-like mouth, probably due to an egg-eating habit. At present, such wingless forms are usually regarded as the ancestors of birds that somehow developed feathers and took to flight. The pterodactyls supposedly evolved at a later date from a somewhat similar ancestor, never enjoyed the luxury of feathers but simply glided around on leathery bat-like wings. Proaves. But all these potential avian ancestors did not have a clavicle or wishbone. The fact that all flying birds, including Archaeopteryx, possess a V-shaped means that the immediate ancestors could hardly have been without it. Moreover, all these ancestral reptiles were highly specialized in several other characters which were not bird-like. This disqualifies them at once as the ancestral stock of birds. They are too specialized to be on the direct line, and some of their similarities to birds appear to be convergences. Probably avian stock arose much earlier, in Permian or even earlier, from a more ancestral type. Hillman gives the name Proavis to this hypothetical connecting link between the rather generalized pseudosuchians and the first birds. Diphyletic origin of birds. The earliest known fossil birds include both flying like Archaeopteryx and Ichthyornis, as well as flightless like Hesperornis and Diatryma types. The recently extinct moas and elephant birds were also flightless. The most primitive living birds or retid like ostrich, rhea, cassowary, etc. and penguins are also flightless. This led some authors, notably P.R. Law, to believe in the diphyletic, that is, 2 line of descent origin of birds. They maintain that the flightless and flying birds of today have descended from different flightless ancestors. According to Law, the present-day flightless birds were never capable of flight, and their wings are not degenerate now, but better developed than at any time in their past history. Monophyletic origin of birds. In retid, the legs are well developed and powerful, the wings vestigial, and the feathers are fluffy. But a recently discovered fossil of Eleoherornis, a probable ancestor of the present-day ostrich from the Eocene of Switzerland, shows a closer affinities to flying forms than does the present-day ostrich and poses a serious blow to the concept of diphyletic origin of birds. Today, most paleontologists believe that the Carinatae are more primitive. Presumably, the retid evolves from flying ancestors but readapted to a terrestrial mode of life in areas with abundant food and few competitors or enemies. The more usually accepted view today maintains that birds have a monophyletic origin, that is, all birds have evolved from a single ancestor, perhaps close to Archaeopteryx. Accordingly, the flightless birds have evolved by loss of flight from flying ancestors. The weight of known evidence also favors this view. Ratite. A ratite is any of diverse group of large flightless birds of the superorder Paleognathai. There is still some controversy regarding the systematics involved. Some sources state that ratites are synonymous with Struthioneformes, while other sources state that ratites are the same group, only that the order Struthioneformes contains only the ostrich and possibly the elephant bird. Ratites belong to the modern bird superorder Paleognathai, which consists of ratites and tinamous compared to Neognathae. Unlike other flightless birds, the ratites have no keel on their sternum, hence the name from the Latin ratis for raft. Without this to anchor their wings muscles, they could not fly even if they were to develop suitable wings. Most parts of the former Gondwana supercontinent have ratites, or did have until the fairly recent past. Their closest living relatives are the tinamous of South America. Some taxonomical systems consider the various families of ratites to be orders, but the system used here uses the order Struthioneformes to refer to all ratites. Species. Living forms. The African ostrich is the largest living ratite. A large number of these species can be nearly 2.8 meters tall, weigh as much as 156 kilograms, and can outrun a horse. Of the living species, the Australian emu is next in height, reaching up to 1.9 meters tall and about 50 kilograms. Like the ostrich, it is a fast-running, powerful bird of the open plains and woodlands. Also native to Australia and the islands to the north are the three species of cassowary. Shorter than an emu but heavier and solidly built, cassowaries prefer thickly vegetated tropical forest. They can be very dangerous when surprised or cornered because of their razor-sharp talons. They reach up to 1.7 meters tall and weigh as much as 59 kilograms. South America has two species of rhea. Large, fast-running birds of the pampas, the larger American rhea grows to about 1.4 meters tall and usually weigh 15 to 40 kilograms. The smallest ratites are the 5 species of kiwi from New Zealand. Kiwi are chicken-sized, shy and nocturnal. They nest in deep burrows and use a highly developed sense of smell to find small insects and grubs in the soil. Kiwi are notable for laying eggs that are very large in relation to their body size. A kiwi egg may equal 15 to 20% of the body mass of a female kiwi. The smallest species of kiwi is the little spotted kiwi at 0.9 to 1.9 kilograms and 35 to 45 centimeters. Description. Ratites in general have many physical characteristics in common, which are often not shared by the family Tinamidae or Tinamous. First, the breast muscles are underdeveloped. They do not have keeled sterna. Their wishbones or furcula are almost absent. They have a simplified wing skeletons and musculature. The legs are stronger and do not have air chambers, except the femurs. Their tail and the flight feathers have retrogressed or have become decorative plumes. They have no feathers worn, which means they do not need to oil their feathers, hence they have no preen glands. They have no separation of terale and apteria, and finally they have paleognathous palates. Ostriches have the greatest dimorphism. Rheas show some dichromatism during the breeding season. Emus cassowaries and kiwis show some dimorphism, predominantly in size. While the ratids share a lot of similarities, they also have major differences. Ostriches have only 2 toes, with one being much larger than the other. Cassowaries have developed long inner toe nails used defensively. Ostriches and rheas have prominent wings, although they don't use them to fly. They do use them in courtship and predator distraction. Without exception, ratid cheeks are capable of swimming and even diving. So this is how various theories and hypotheses as well as scientific evidences support the origin of magnificent and beautiful creature, the bird. Thank you.